Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tear apart an ancient fable. But this isn't just a story, it's a blueprint, really. A timeless guide to strategy, manipulation, and just how powerful it is to control the story. So let's jump right in. The whole thing kicks off with this terrifying mystery. There's this sound, see? Nobody knows what it is, but it's so powerful it's brought an entire kingdom to its knees. And right in the middle of it all, you've got a king who is just paralyzed by fear. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? The problem isn't the sound. It's that nobody understands it. It's the unknown. And whenever you have that kind of uncertainty, well, it creates a power vacuum. It's like a stage, just waiting for the right actor to step on and take over. So here we meet our king, King Pingalaka. He's a lion, supposed to be the king of the jungle, right? But his whole court is just shaking in their boots, ready to run for the hills because of this noise. This is a ruler who has completely lost his cool. But here's where it gets really interesting. You've got this stark contrast. Everyone else, they see a life or death threat. But then there's this one guy, Damanaka the Jackal. He's this courtier who's kind of been pushed to the side, overlooked, and he doesn't see a threat. No, he sees an opening, a golden opportunity to get back in the game by fixing the king's little fear problem. So Damanaka makes his move, but he doesn't charge in, all tough and macho. Nope, he uses something way more powerful. He tells a story. And this story is perfectly crafted to deal with the king's totally irrational fear. The story goes something like this. There's this other jackal who hears a scary noise. But instead of running away, he checks it out. And what does he find? Just an old drum, with the wind making branches scrape against it. Harmless. The moral of the story is crystal clear. Don't be afraid of a noise. Figure out what's making it. I mean, this is just a genius move, right? He basically tells the king, hey, everyone's just following your lead. If you're scared, they're scared. He puts the pressure right back on the king to be brave, and then, in the same breath, he volunteers to go check out the noise himself. He looks loyal, he looks courageous. He's playing this perfectly. But check this out. The moment Damanaka is out the door, the king's paranoia just goes into overdrive. He starts thinking, wait a minute, I demoted this guy. What if he's not helping me? What if he joins my enemy? And that right there, that's the king's fatal flaw. He's deeply insecure, he doesn't trust anyone, and Damanaka is about to use that against him big time. Okay, so Damanaka heads off to find out what's making all this racket. And what he finds, well, it's the key to his entire master plan. And here it is, the huge gap between what we fear and what's actually real. This monstrous, kingdom-shaking beast from the king's nightmares, it turns out to be a lost bullock. Just a big old cow, basically, named Sanjivaka, who got separated from his herd. Now pay close attention to his reaction here. He doesn't go, oh great, problem solved, and run back to tell the king. No, his brain immediately starts calculating. He realizes, wow, this is my chance. I have the power now to make the king and this bullock friends or enemies, whatever I want. Suddenly, he's holding all the cards. And this lays out his whole playbook. It's a simple, 4-step formula for taking somebody else's fear and turning it into your own power. Step 1, find the fear. Step 2, figure out the real cause. Step 3, spin a new story about it. And Step 4, make yourself the only solution. It's just a masterclass in manipulation. Okay, now we get to the really clever part of this whole thing. Damanaka doesn't just tell one story. Oh no. He creates 2 totally different stories, a custom-made narrative for each audience. So first, he goes back to the king, who's still shaking, right? He doesn't say, hey boss, false alarm, it's just a cow. No way. He hypes it up. He says, Master, this is no ordinary animal. This is a sacred ox, a special ride for the god Shiva. He makes the bullock sound divine, powerful, something to be respected, even feared. Then he strolls over to the bullock, Sanjivaka, and tells him the complete opposite story. He's like, hey you, don't you know who you're messing with? Our king is a terrifying beast, and you're making all this noise. You better watch your step. He basically manufactures fear out of thin air. It's just perfect, isn't it? He's got the king feeling awe and respect, and he's got the bullock feeling fear. By controlling how they both see each other, he makes himself the one and only person who can connect them. He's the essential middleman.
So, the big question, does all this scheming actually work? You bet it does. Damanaka gets everything he wanted, and then some. The king is just so relieved, so impressed. He immediately makes Damanaka his chief minister. And boom, just like that, our overlooked, scheming Jackal is now the second in command. Mission accomplished. And Damanaka is just soaking it all in. He's on top of the world, thinking to himself, I'm a genius. My brain got me here, and nothing can touch me now. In his mind, he's already won the whole game. But the story's not quite over, and this is where the irony just drips off the page. Damanaka gives one last piece of advice, and it's a warning that's actually aimed squarely at himself. He's basically predicting his own potential downfall. The takeaway here is so clear. When your power is built on lies and manipulation, it's standing on shaky ground. And that pride, that feeling that you're too smart to fail, that's exactly what can cause the whole thing to come crashing down. So it leaves us with this final question to chew on. Damanaka won this round, for sure. But his whole victory is built on a house of cards, a foundation of lies. And what this ancient story is really asking us is, when you control the story, do you ever really have control at all?